Hey, it's James. Welcome back to the channel, and I want to walk you through 3 things that millionaires do that you don't know about. One of the really cool things about my 6-7 years online at this point has been I went from a complete nobody with no business experience to building multiple 7-figure businesses, traveling the world, impacting the lives of thousands of clients, but most importantly, being able to get into the room with countless internet millionaires and seeing what is it that they do that is different from the average person. I've traveled to some of the most weird remote locations around the world to get in the same room as some of the biggest players online. And I'm talking about people who do $300, $400, $500 million a year online. When I was in Puerto Rico, I got to sit down with a guy doing numbers just like that, one of the most incredible people working online to date, had dinner with him, got to pick his brain, hear his story, and hear the way that he thinks. And as a result of being in the room with people like that, I've been able to distill 3 specific things that they do differently that you can learn from and take action on today to accelerate your career in the online space. Number 1 is they stack skills. You see, people think that going online and becoming successful with an online business model comes down to one lucky move, one lucky business model, and capitalizing on a trend really quickly. Now, outside of the couple of people who invest in some weird meme coin on Twitter, the majority of the people who make long-term money, and these are the big numbers we're talking about, not somebody making 10K on a coin one time. What they do is start with one skill. For me, it was copywriting. For others, it was remote sales. For others, it was e-commerce. But they start with one skill. And what they did was they learn that skill, they master that skill, and they apply it and they make money with it. But there's always the next skill. You see, one skill has the power to go out there and get you to your first 3, 5, even 10 grand per month online, or even a little bit more. But the bottom line is that one skill isn't enough. It can get you to the point where you're making some great money online, but if you want to do millions a year, you need to have more. And so just like Batman has his utility belt with a bunch of different tools that he can use at any point, online millionaires have the same. They started with one skill, but then they stacked 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 on top of them to the point where there is nothing that they cannot do because they've gone ahead and stacked their skills. The more skills you have, the more money you can make because the more things that you can do. Now, for example, I teach e-commerce to my members inside of my coaching group. Now, why do I do that? Because e-commerce is made up of a series of different skills that stack together to form pretty much the ultimate stack for an online entrepreneur. Think about it. When someone becomes a beginner in my program, we teach them organic dropshipping. If you're somebody who is new to this channel, it's what I talk about all the time. Selling products online, making money without ever having to see, touch, ship, or pay for the product up front, but doing it in a way where all you need to do is spend a bit of time and use free platforms that are already on your computer or your phone. And that model is combined of skills like finding winning products, market research, copywriting, like I mentioned before, then going ahead and doing sales. Sales is another skill we need to learn. And then for my advanced students who go further, they get into stuff like building stores, running paid ads, scaling, automation, team building, things that are far higher level skills. But if somebody goes through and they learn one, they'll make a bit of money. But the people who go through and they learn everything from the beginning skills all the way through to the advanced skills, they're unstoppable. Such as my client Craig, and if you haven't seen his interview here on the channel, he did $180,000 in a single month. Now, did he do that overnight? No. He just stacked skills very, very quickly. Came into the beginner program, did 8K in his very first month, using the simple skills, finding basic products, using social media platforms. Then he scaled it with a store and paid ads and scaled and everything he wanted to do from there. That was an example of stacking skills. When I sit down with people who have done massive numbers, when I talk to them, I can see they're doing one thing here and one thing here and one thing here and one thing here. They're all different skills, but they come together to form the ultimate skill set that can be used to really, really crush it online. Now, why am I telling you this? Because the first thing you need to do is learn one skill. Learn one skill, get really good at it, and use it to make your first few sales online. But then you need to get into the mindset of, I'm going to start stacking and compounding my skills to get where I want to go further and faster. If you've gone ahead and you've learned how to find winning products, you've started making sales on basic free platforms like we teach. The next thing is going to be, how can we go out there and automate that so you have more time? Then how do we go out there and do market research to turn it into a brand that resonates with our target customer? Then how do we build a store? Then how do we set up the back-end automations? How do we do the ads? How do we scale? How do we do all the fun stuff? Everything compounds in time. Starts with one skill, and then it builds, and over 3, 4, 5 years, you won't believe what you can do. Number 2, success is a marathon, not a sprint. The biggest thing that I've seen with all of these people is that these are not people who popped up 2 weeks ago. The best people are somebody who've been in the game 5, 7, 10 years or more. I'm reaching my 7th year online at this point, right? And I'm feeling it, my hair's going great. But the biggest thing is that the people who are really doing this, that have the skills, that have the experience, that know what they're doing, they started out quite a while ago. And that's not a bad thing, because anything worthwhile in life takes time. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's about how long can you go, how good of an attitude can you bring to this, and most importantly, how much can you train each and every week as you get better and better and better. There's so many people who start their very first online business and they're not successful within their first 7 days, and what do? They quit. Because it's too hard, it's taking too long, this shit doesn't work. Which is not actually the case. You've just given it a week and you half-assed it, and you really didn't try. The people who have the results you want, they're no more smarter than you, cleverer than you, not in a better position, not lucky to have rich parents. They just treated it like a marathon, not a sprint. They said, I'm gonna learn these skills, I'm gonna stack these skills, I'm gonna get the income that I want, but I'm aware that it will not happen overnight. We're gonna take it week by week, month by month, play it by ear, follow the proven process, get the right help, and then they get where you wanna go just because they realized and treated it like a marathon, not a sprint. So what do we know so far? We know that in order for you to really become massively successful online, not a little one-hit wonder, but successful long-term, your focus should be on stacking skills. The next thing you need to know is that this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. You're not going to magically become a millionaire overnight, but you can absolutely become a millionaire if you stick to learning skills and play the long game and treat it like a marathon. But the third thing is really, really interesting. You see, when I'm having dinner and hanging out with people who are doing numbers well above even what I do, I'm talking about hundreds of millions of dollars a year. You know what the funny thing about them is? Is that these are people who are so confident in who they are that they could not care about what anybody on the internet has to say to them. They could not care what their parents have to say, or their friends have to say, or their buddies at the bar have to say. There's a saying that I've heard them say time and time again, which is, if you don't want their life, don't take their advice. Now here's what's interesting about that. If you're looking to get started online, you're probably hearing from your friends or your co-workers or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mum, your dad, the comments section, they're saying to you, it's not going to work, it's a scam, it's not worth it, none of this stuff is real, you'll never make it. I'm sure you've seen all this stuff before. But you know what the funny thing is? Nobody who says that stuff has ever actually tried. If you look at their profiles, if you look at their life, they may be incredible people in the real world. They may be your best mate, but if they haven't done the thing that you want to do, then why are you listening to them? But we see all the time people looking at what other people are saying and they don't even want their life, and they're taking their advice on what they should do. The biggest thing is these people who are hugely successful, they laugh at the idea of comment. They laugh at the idea of naysayers. They say, listen, I'm just going to focus on what I want to do. I don't care what anyone else has to say, because I know this works and I'll work as hard as I need to get where I want to go, and that's exactly what they did. It's exactly what I did. You would not believe the amount of hate that I got when I started out. And not just from people on the internet, but also from friends, people who love me. Because guess what? It's not about discouraging you. They just want to keep you safe. But if they're not living the life that you want, why would you take their life advice? People who are truly successful online don't listen to anyone else except the ones who have already done what they want to do. So there you go. Those are 3 things I have seen consistently that online millionaires who are doing bigger numbers than you could imagine do consistently to get where they want to go, especially pulling out the things that are useful for you as a beginner who's looking to get started. Now, with that being said, if you're brand new and this is sort of your first couple of videos you've seen as you get into your online space, or you've been thinking about it for a while but you just haven't got started yet, take my advice and start here. Don't listen to what anyone else has to say. Don't expect to get rich quick. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Start with the very first skill. And in my opinion, the best skill that you can learn is selling simple products online without needing to do complicated stuff like building websites, running ads, using free platforms. Now, if you want to learn how to do that, there's bunches of videos all around my channel breaking down exactly how to do that, what's involved, how you should get started, and what the best few tips are if you're a beginner. If that's what you want to do and you don't have a skill just yet, go down and binge the videos here on my channel. I make them for you so that you can use them, so you can profit from them, and they'll be hugely valuable for you. And with that being said, I'll see you